Okay? You need to understand that. This very top surface of the muscle is the levator palpebrae superioris. 3 words. I always forget this word. Levator palpebrae superioris. All right? That is the one that lets you blink. All right? That's what that one is. But then there's this muscle right underneath it, right here. That's your superior rectus. That's the one that I say teenagers have a huge one. Yes, huge superior rectuses. Why? Because they're, oh, Mom, right? They roll their eyes. Oh, right? So they're really using their superior rectus all the time. Okay? So then the next muscle, way out lateral, makes it nice, lateral rectus, right? So I'm going to take those muscles off so we can get to other ones. Scooch them out, scooch them out. Okay, then we have this one on the inside. That would be your medial rectus, right? And the one on the bottom is your inferior rectus. So the rectuses are all straight. It's just where they are in as far as position. All right, now we got 2 trickier ones, the obliques. We have a superior oblique and an inferior oblique. You see the muscle fibers just starting right here. So those muscle fibers just starting right here and they're swooshing down. That's your inferior oblique. It swooshes all the way around the bottom side of your eye. See that swooshing? It goes all the way around the bottom. Starts over here and he swooshes around. That's your inferior oblique. That pulls your eye and turns it clockwise. Okay? Versus this one up here, you see the fibers, the tendon fibers starting here. So they have the fan of fibers coming to kind of a rope. And then this rope goes through a loop, a little fibrous loop. It goes through this loop like a hook, okay? And then the tendon turns into muscle. Seeing that tendon turn in? That is your superior oblique over here. See this? That's your superior oblique. But the hook that it goes through is the trochlea. Trochlea, if you look up trochlea in the dictionary, it's a pulley. And that's what it is. It's pulling this way, it goes through the pulley and redirections the muscle in a different direction. But it pulls your eye to turn this way, counterclockwise. So they're both working against each other. Okay, so they're holding your eye straight. Right. Superior oblique is this one right up here. So this is your medial rectus. But this one, because it goes through that hook. Okay?
Can you show me the medial rectus?
It is right here. Okay? And this one's the superior oblique because he goes around. And so he's turning the eye when he contracts. Yep. Inferior is this, it starts here and swooshes around the bottom. Okay? Alright. So now we're going to go to layers of the eye. Well, no, wait, hang on. Wait, sorry about that. Right, what we have coming right out the back here, really obvious. This is your optic nerve, right? We have our optic nerve coming back, and this is our optic chiasm. Yep, the big white, yep. Alright? Okay. So then we have the eyeball. So we're going to name some layers in the eyeball. So this outer fibrous, cream-colored outer shell is the sclera. Okay? And the sclera, when you look at it on histology, it just it transitions. That's good. Transitions into the cornea, like from the same layer during development. Just one develops clear and one doesn't. Okay, so you have your cornea, and then you have your sclera. So we're gonna take that apart, and so this represents your cornea. Okay, and we're still on the inside. So even if I have the dot on here, it's still sclera. Okay. So it's fibrous white part. Then we have this dark gray purpley, that is the choroid layer. When you see that on the microscope, it's dark and grainy. You'll just know if it's the pointer's on something dark and grainy, it's choroid. Okay? And then this gray part here, that's your iris, and of course the hole is your pupil. Right? Everybody good with that? So then we're going to open this little guy up. No, don't do this. And then we have the lens. Okay? So that is our lens. And this thing represents vitreous humor. Okay, it's very jelly-like. You'll see it in the sheep's eye. But this represents vitreous humor. Okay? I'm going to set him down. Then on the inside of the eye, which this doesn't show it as nicely as there's a big eye back there, huge eye. Definitely look at, nope, there should be like a big, like,
It's right behind her.
10-inch guy. Yeah, no, bigger. Should be a huge
Over
one.
here.
Oh, he's over there. Yeah, he's over there. He's a big eye. Look at him when you're looking for the suspensory ligaments and the ciliary bodies and the ciliary muscle. You can see it really well distinguished in that eye and also in that poster guy too. You can see it well in both of those. So the thing that is holding out here, holding where's my the lens, is the suspensory ligaments. They're very fine little black lines, very fine little hairs. Okay, they're holding that. Then they are connected to the ciliary bodies. And the ciliary bodies are just like little outcroppings from the ciliary muscle. Okay, so you have the ciliary muscle, then you have these little pulled papilla kind of looking things, and then from those you have the suspensory ligaments. Okay, so kind of picture that in your mind. All right, so then comes the fun part. Now we're on the inside of the eye, right? This is very cool. All right, so you have where your optic nerve is. So if you trace that to the inside, you'll see like a paler white circle on the inside. The paler white circle. The paler white circle is your optic disc or blind spot. Okay? You're going to see it on the sheep's eye. You're going to see the retina. It's very thin, but it all swirls into a point and pulls back. Right at that point where it swirls in, that is your optic disc. Okay? I'm going to show it to you on the histology, and you'll see why they call it a blind spot, because there are no rods and cones there. Okay? And then there's another important spot, or two spots, however you want to say it, on the back of the retina. This one, it just has a tiny little cream spot right above my fingernail. Tiny cream spot. Imagine that little cream spot surrounded by like a darker brown circle or something like that, okay? The tiny cream spot is the central fovea. Around it, that is inclusive of that, is the macula lutea, okay? That is the highest concentration of rods and cones in your retina, okay? It happens to be really good because you have your optic nerve that's kind of coming off in this direction. So if this was my eye, right? The macula lutea happens to be right in the middle of the back of my eye, which is where you would want your highest concentrations of rods and cones, right? You don't want it off to the side. That's no good. You want to see really clearly what's straight in front of you. So everybody heard of the disease macular degeneration, right? Well, what happens is that those high concentrations of rods and cones disintegrate. They don't become functional anymore. And you can tell when people have that disease is because they can't see what's right in front of them. They can see around it, but if you put a finger right in front of their eye, they don't see it. But they can see, like I can see you, or I can see over here, but I couldn't see the finger right in front of my eye. So people with that disease, they have a tendency to turn their head and look around, look up, and do all sorts of weird head posturing things to try to see what's in front of them. Okay?
So if you had that marked, would we write both macular?
It depends on what model I use. On this one, you would use central fovea because it's just the pin dot.
Okay.
On other models, there's a halo around it,
Okay.
and that would be the macula lutea.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so cats even get this disease. I diagnosed a cat because the owner brought it in and was complaining because the cat was scratching her, and at first I'm thinking it's a behavioral problem, and she sets the cat down, and it's kind of, moving its head in kind of weird angles while it's getting used to the exam room, and I'm watching it and talking to her, and it's just, it sits there on the floor, and she looks up at me, and she does this kind of a thing, and she comes up, and then she tries, and then she jumps up, she misses, and scratches me on the way down. And she does it when she's trying to jump on the counter, and she's trying to jump on the couch. She always misses. What is the problem? I think I know what it is. I can't fix it. But it's macular degeneration. That's exactly what she was describing. Okay? Yep.
I have a relative who can't see from the sides of his eye.
Peripheral vision
Yeah,
problems.
he does not have any peripheral vision. He walks in the walls and
Okay.
everything.
Did they say what his problem was? Did they diagnose him with like progressive retinal atrophy or something like that?
I don't think they diagnosed it, but I know he has a tumor.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. Another disease is retinal atrophy. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It happens, this is not going to be on a quiz or anything, this is just for your information. Sorry about that. Start talking about cats and dogs, you can just either tune me out or whatever you want to do. But with collies, it's a problem because they have progressive retinal atrophy. You're going to see when I look at the sheep's eye, when I take it apart, that retina is very thin. But if it atrophies, you're going to see this really bright, shiny surface that's just underneath the retina. That's the top surface of the choroid. It's called the tapetum lucidum. It's really pretty, okay? But it's really highly reflective. It's like a shell, like a seashell. But when I look into that kitty's eye or that dog's eye, I get a burst of light right back at me when it shouldn't be that bright. And so that's a sign when you're having retinal atrophy. And like if you see old people that wear those big glasses, that's usually probably their problem is retinal atrophy because they cannot let too much light into their eyes because they got to save what retina they have left. Okay? All right, so I am going to go swoosh this away and I'm going to get a couple of sheep's eyes and I'll be back in a couple of minutes.